I want to dedicate this to my grandmother and my grandfather, Boo and Lou. So, how many people in here love to be right by show of hands? Let's go ahead and start it off, right? Let's go into it. All right. Now, by show of hands, how many people in here love being righteous? Right. So we'll get into it. Life ain't been no crystal stair for me. I'm a little black girl out of Woodville, a very small community. I grew up on a half-paved, half-dirt road. I'm proud of that. That little girl has done a lot of amazing things with her life, but I had to figure out what the difference between being right and being righteous. I mean, we go through life trying to be right, doing what people tell us we're supposed to do. That's being right, going to the right school, marrying the right person, having the right people that you associate with, all of these different things. But being righteous means not only you do what is best for you, but you do what is best for the people who are around you. See, growing up where I grew up, you was always concerned about being right, because being right meant you was going to be on top. And if you was going to be on top, then you were going to be all right. But I had to learn a very valuable lesson. I can remember it was time to go to high school, and everybody was trying to figure out what school they wanted to go to. There was a popular art school that just opened up here in Savannah, Georgia. And I had an opportunity to go and audition, and I did. And what was so amazing was I walked in for that audition to be a principal dancer. And when I walked in, I had on this baggy sweatpants and a white T-shirt, and all the other girls, they had on pink tights and black leotards, and I had only seen this stuff on TV. They had been training since they had been 5. I had never taken a class a day in my life, but the one thing that I had that they did not have is that I wanted it more than they wanted it. I needed it more than they needed it. So I turned the tightest. I jumped the farthest. I leaped the highest. And when I got accepted into that school, the best thing that ever happened to me. During my 11th grade year, I can remember teachers coming in saying, all right, you guys, it's time to figure out what school you're going to go to. School? Talking about college? Nah, that ain't going to happen. I'm going to work. Loved school, was a great student in school, but school just was not for me. So I had to figure out what I was going to do. You're either going to go to school, you're going to go to work. So during that time, I was dancing back and forth with the African dance troupe, and I had been traveling. So my high school year, I was already doing backup for some very heavy hitters that you all watch on MTV today. I was doing backup dancing and doing all those things, traveling back and forth. I would leave from school Friday, catch a flight, be in New York that weekend, come back Monday morning in my chair at school. I was working, I was grinding, choreographing, and being that person. But then the modeling thing came into play. Somebody saw me, and they were like, listen, we want you. We want to sign you on a contract. Let's make it happen. Boom, let's do it. What did I sign? But you're going to need a little over $2,000 to start. Whoa, wait a minute, let's talk about it. Next thing you know, I called my brother. Now, like I said before, life ain't been no crystal stair for me. I come from drug dealers. My mother, my father, my brothers, my cousins, all my life I was surrounded by it. So see, I can't judge Mr. Dope Dealer, because Mr. Dope Dealer done put shoes on my feet and gave me food to eat. So see, I can't judge Mr. Dope Dealer. At that point in time, I called my brother, the only person that I knew that had those funds. And I told him what happened. He said, I'll be by this afternoon. I was living in a housing project here in Savannah with my mother. My brother called me, said, come downstairs. I never forget it, it was raining that day. I ran downstairs in the rain. I opened up the passenger seat. My brother counted over $2,000 to me in the seat. My first flesh reaction, I reached for it. He put his hand on top of it. And he said, Weslyn, are you sure this is what you want to do. See, you got to make a choice about being right and being righteous. My brother had risked his life for that money. As illegal as it may have been, he risked his life for me, to feed me and to provide for me with that same $2,000 that I was going to go and not know whether it was going to work out or not. I had to make a decision. Are you going to be right or are you going to be righteous? At that very moment, I chose to be righteous. I said, don't worry about it. I'll get it another way. I worked overtime. I took every gig, sleepless nights. I did everything I had to do. Next thing you know, didn't even need the contract. Got the modeling gig. Everything was wonderful. But then another question came up about being right and being righteous. Me, fresh off the flight from New York, back in Savannah, there is a popular new newspaper here, and they want to interview me. Well, of course you want to interview me. It's me. I'm back to Savannah. You know? So at that point in time, I wasn't experienced in interviewing, not knowing that everything I said from that moment was being recorded. So I'm sitting down, and omission is hell. At that point, he said, "You're from Jamaica, right?" I didn't say anything. In my mind, I didn't say it, so he's not going to write it down. Monday morning, front page, The West. It's me. I'm so excited. Probably about 12:30, I get a phone call from my brother. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my brother. This is a man that I honor, respect, and adore. His childhood is absent. It doesn't exist because of me, because he had to make a choice in his life if he was going to be right and live his life, or if he was going to be righteous and take care of his little sister. And till this day, he still makes the choice to be righteous. My brother called me that afternoon, and I can hear it in his voice. He said, "Weslyn, why did you tell those people that you were from Jamaica?" And with all the hate I had and the dismissiveness I had for the people who told me I was too black, I was too ugly, I would never make it, I told him, let them eat cake. I did this. This is my moment. I don't care what anybody says. And my brother says something to me that I will never forget. "Weslyn, when you deny where you came from, you deny me." At that moment, it broke my heart that I had disappointed a man who had risked his life for me every day and every night. I did that. It broke my heart. I could have died. From that moment forward, I made a conscious choice to make him proud of me. For me to be proud of where I came from. Because see, being right is selfish. You're only concerned about yourself and what people say and what they're going to say and what they're going to do. When you are righteous, you do not care, because your motives are to make sure that everything you touch, everything you do, everything you say comes from you and out and touches everything around you. But see, we're taught to be right. We're not taught to be righteous. Preserve self. Self first. Survival for the fittest. I'm here to tell you that right now, here today, in front of you stands a little black girl off of a half-paved, half-dirt road out of Woodville who is proud to be from there. Life ain't been no crystal stair for me, but I am not a victim. I don't make excuses about the choices of others, because at the end of the day, I have choice, and I choose to live with an open heart, an open mind, and an open hand. My motto is, if you can, then you should. Stop worrying about what the other person's objective is. If you can give, then give. If you can do, then do. What does it matter? But see, we have to try to figure out the difference between being right and being righteous. I'm thankful that at a very early age, I found out the difference for myself. And I hope that you too can find out the difference for yourself, because I challenge you. I challenge you today to find the difference between being right and being righteous. There's a poem I want to do for you all. Who will cry for the little girl? Who will cry for the little girl, lost and alone? Who will cry for the little girl, abandoned, without a home? Who will cry for the little girl, a good girl she tried to be? Who will cry for the little girl that lives inside of me? Who will cry for the little girl who tries to do her best? I will cry for that little girl, and every day I will put her to the test. Now, how many of you want to be right by show of hands? And how many of you want to be righteous? Thank you.